Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
Probably Hart's best save, would you say?
Yeah, maybe other than that one on point.
On point, yeah.
Victor Hedman to center ice. Drop past Kucherov to the red line on the right wing. Cross the blue line. Braden Point, right circle, right corner. Kucherov in front. Nemechnikov, left circle. Stamkos, score! What a passing play that was! Stamkos has his 5th goal this year. And the Lightning lead 1-0 with 18:35 left in the second.
Yeah, courtesy of Lightning Radio right there. Isn't it great just to hear Espo's voice and Mish's voice on that beautiful 102.5, the Boone FM signal. It was gorgeous last night listening to that. And unfortunately, the Lightning lost 3-2. Welcome into the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by Emerging Investigations, emerginginv.com, Tampa Bay's #1 private investigation agency, at the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. Good morning to all of you as we come to you on this hump day. And it's chilly. It's chilly in Florida this morning, 51 degrees. Probably won't get out of the 70s today, or the 60s. I'm sorry. Maybe we are getting into the low 70s today. I'll be teeing it up this afternoon in a beautiful sun-splashed 65, 70-degree day today. So I'll be looking forward to that after the show. Good morning to you, Nick Geddes. How are you after what was an underwhelming opening night for Tampa Bay? The Tampa Bay is we're reeling a little bit right now.
We've reverted right back to the mean. The Bucs are 3-3. The Rays can't win a playoff game. The Lightning are 1-3.
1-3.
1-3. And USF is 1-6. I mean, those things never change. But we are back.
They just lost their starting quarterback, Timmy McClain. Hello.
Where are you?
Where are you, Timmy McClain? You're at UCF. You dumb. Oh, we told you, Timmy. We told you before you did that. Don't do it. Don't do it. And now Gary Bohannon is on the shelf with a shoulder injury for the rest of the season. And Timmy McClain would have taken over this team, and who knows where he would be. But he's at UCF because he got butt hurt and had to leave.
He just wanted to be in good atmospheres on the sideline.
Yeah, and he's never going to play at UCF. But that's a whole nother story. We'll get into a little bit later on in the show. We got a great show for you. Coming up at 10:30, Jason Romano is going to join us, a former Devil Ray, and of course, first-round pick out of Hillsborough High School. We're going to talk some playoff baseball. We'll talk about the Rays. His man last night, Kyle Schwarber, with a bomb. So he will join us at 10:30, talk all things baseball. Love talking baseball with Jason because he will say things that other people will not. He is very, very candid. He works with one of the leading agencies representing players, so has a lot of great insight. So we'll chat with him at 10:30. Corey Long will join us at 11:30, covers the Bolts and college football and the Bucs as well. So we will chat with him about all things Tampa Bay sports. But yeah, just in the macro, this is why for the last 2-3 years, we've been coming on and saying, hey, enjoy it. Enjoy it while you can, folks, because these days will not last. They will not last. And you hope that I don't, and in the macro, I don't think the Lightning's window is closing at all. I think it's a little bit of a reaction. Core is still the same. For the Bucs this year, I think you could say very much this is the core still there. There's a good piece there. They just got to figure it out. Same thing for the Lightning right now. They just got to figure it out. I was doing the last call show last night for the first time. Doing the post-game show. Hope you guys caught that. We were on 30 minutes after the game, myself and Brian Enblom. We do it from Cigar City, too, the tap room there. So come on by after the games and have a cold one with us. But we talked about that this first part of this season is very much going to be a learning experience for the coaches. And, I kind of used the analogy of there's a kind of a blank canvas right now for John Cooper. Maybe not blank. I mean, he's got a great foundation of a wonderful, piece of artwork right now. And now he's got to figure out which brush strokes he's going to use and where he's going to use it in the different colors to make this masterpiece and hopefully a third Stanley Cup in 4 seasons. And it's all about a lot of that is taking this talent that he has and finding out where it plays best and where it looks best. And of course, reinforcing those same messages, and we'll hear from Cooper in a little bit, that he's been talking about for years and years and years. And it's a new season, it's a new group, and you got to do it again. And last night the message was you had a 2-0 lead. You did not need any more. But yet there you were trying to score 4, 5, 6, 7 goals against the Flyers and blow them out of the building on opening night. You didn't need to do it. You didn't need to do it. You had a 2-goal lead, and you lose. You don't even get a point. You don't even get a point. So we got Salty Cooper last night. We'll hear Salty Cooper, and it's, but this is an opportunity for him to drive that point home again early in the season. We're going to win on defense, boys. We're not going to win on offense. The defense will lead to the offense. And, we've heard it. They've heard it. But it's a message that needs to be brought anew to a new group of players. And what better way than to lose a game like that against an inferior opponent who you should have stepped on their neck, and you did not.
Yeah, I think you can draw a lot of parallels between what the Bucs are going through and what the Lightning are going through. And you mentioned that last night. I heard you. I was listening to the post-game show with you and Brian, and you mentioned Bulls and the Super Bowl comment. Some guys are living off that, and we'll get to the audio too. And I think Cooper was asked about that in the press conference about past success and all that. And but it's a new team, and if you want any further proof of what the Lightning are going through, they've already used in 4 games. They've used all 8 defensemen. Okay, so he's still trying to figure out, okay, what is my top 6?
Yeah.
Who is playing with who? Like, it looks like Chernak now is going to settle in next to Victor Hedman, which, I mean, I'll put that pairing up against most in the entire league.
Yep.
But after that, you kind of have to figure out who can I plug and play here. I mean, Nick Perbix got in there yesterday.
He played well.
And he played really well.
Brian Engblom was very, very complimentary of his game last night. And it just said that he did not look nervous. He looked like he's been playing in this league for 3 or 4 years. That was a very, very good opening salvo from him.
Yeah, and Ian Cole getting back in there. I mean, he's played a lot of hockey in his career.
I like
veteran.
His game. Very mature.
Gotta like his game. So Cal Foote, we thought was going to be sat down. He got another crack at the lineup. Fleury and Myers sit. So I think that's kind of what you're gonna see for the Lightning going forward. And even in the forward group, I think, that 12th guy or that 11th guy, who's it going to be? And finding where Brandon Hagel is gonna play. I mean, and he's on the top line right now because when he played with Patrick Kane in Chicago, he scored 21 goals. Right. So the theory there is, well, let's put him up there with our top guys, Kucherov and Point, see if he can get some of that goal scoring back. So they got to find those things. It's going to take time, like we said. That's what I mentioned. Until they get Cirelli back, I think he's the kind of the key cog in this whole machine. Until they get Cirelli back in there in December, I think we could be looking at maybe a little bit above 500 team. I'd probably say with Lightning at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a work in progress. And last night was a perfect example of it. Now they got Florida coming up on Friday night. You better find out what you're supposed to be doing and do it right, or they're going to blow you out of the building. They've added Matthew Tkachuk. They've added a little bit more grit. They want to get a little dirtier. And that's, what that is. That's the match what the Lightning did. Absolutely. And we'll see how this new look Panthers team looks. But, the Lightning, they have all the pieces to do it right. We saw glimpses of it last night. And I love Nemestikov's drop pass to Stamkos. We played that one. Do we have the other Stammer goal?
I'm going to cue it up here.
The Hedman to Kucherov to Stammer. And this goal, man, Kucherov is just he's just toying with people. He's just toying with people. He's just sitting there on the power play, just waiting to just give me that just 6 to 8 inches that I need of a lane. And Stamkos is moving and trying to find that lane together. They work so well together. And in that moment where the anticipation of the pass and the positioning of Stamkos and the shot, I mean, even the guy who blows the goal horn was a little late on this one because he didn't know if it went in, and it was another virtuoso performance by Hedman to Kucherov to Stamkos. This one,
put it off the side of the goal. Stamkos left corner, left point Hedman. Right circle Kucherov. Kucherov holds. Kucherov drifts to the right corner. Now the right circle Kucherov. Cross ice, Stamkos, score! No! Why did they say no? Now he says goal.
Yeah.
Referee waved it off, and then he points. That's another goal for Stamkos after he missed an open net. A great pass to Kucherov. 2-0 Lightning.
That is one of the all-time good passes. How he got that puck through is amazing. Kucherov, I'm talking about. He waits.
What about the shot,
and then
Phil?
he spots Stammer, and he puts it right there. And Stamkos just by the face-off dot to the right of Hart, and he puts it into the net.
And is that Vladdy? That's a Vladdy in front of Carter Hart, giving a nice little screen there. I don't know. I don't even know where the hell Stamkos. How did he get that through? The pass was just ridiculous. And how many times have we said that about Kucherov? He's the best passer in the game. The best passer in the game. I don't think there's a close second.
It's just the defense gave him that defensive setup by Philly on that power play. They gave him no lane. It's like Tortorella was like, okay, I know what you want to do.
Everybody in the building knows
we know what you want to do.
And he did it anyway.
Exactly. But he just sat there and sat there and sat there. And he's like, you could do all you want, but this pass is going to get through there somehow. And Stamkos, credit on him too, because Stamkos has a tendency to like kind of, he's been moving a lot more, I feel like, now on the power play. And the fact that he was able to creep down there just enough to give him that opening.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just those little things to give you an opening.
Because it's not just the passer, right? It's the guy that's receiving the pass. Is very much like basketball. You're not open if you don't create a passing lane.
Yeah.
You can see there might not be anybody around you, but you're not open if there's no passing lane. If there's no way to get you the puck or the basketball, you're not open. This is a basic tenet of those two games. And so what does Stamkos do? He's moving around. And I thought Engblom made a really great point last night on the show. He said, for most receivers of the puck, there's a small area where you needed to shoot it right away. Right? It's probably a 6-inch to a foot area. Whereas Stamkos is so good with his stick that he widens that out. It's almost like a catch radius for a tall, and he said you could put it into about a 3.5 foot area, and Stamkos is going to maneuver his body and his stick in order to receive the pass and one-time it. So it's this unique ability that both of these guys have. And trust me, they work on it all the freaking time. Mm-hmm. All the freaking time. This is 10,000, 20,000, 100,000.
If you go to like a practice at the Brandon Iceplex or the Wesley Chapel one, and whenever they're open to fans, you'll notice those two guys are always the last two guys out there, and they just go back and forth after practice all the time. But Steven Stamkos, I mean, we talked about with Eric yesterday, is this the best version of him? And I believe it is. And here we are, age 32, going on 33, and leading the NHL in goals through 4 games.
6 goals.
And a lot of them coming on the power play. That shot, I mean, it is on target, it seems like, every time now. And, he got his first 100-point season of his career last year. We are now pushing, it's been 11 years since Steven Stamkos has had a 50-goal season. Mm-hmm. Think about that.
Yeah.
I think he's going to get there this year. He looks motivated, like, I'm going to get 50 now this year.
He stays healthy.
If he stays healthy. And this is the most healthy I think he's been in a long, long time.
Yeah, and for 2 years in a row.
Yeah,
it's just a second straight off season where he has not been rehabbing an injury. And that's a big deal. That gets you able to get ready for the season and start fast, which, of course, he's doing. Yeah, so I look at these Lightning and the Bucks teams as very, very similar. These are two teams that are struggling, but are elite. And it takes time. It takes a little while. There's different players, obviously. And I'll kind of, before we transition into the Bucks, let's listen to Salty Cooper from last night. This is just what I expected, to be quite honest. And unfortunately, Joe Smith's not there anymore for him to terrorize with his questions and comebacks. So I couldn't tell who the first person asking the question was. Who is he choosing to terrorize this year? I'll have to listen in. But it doesn't matter what you ask him. The first guy's going to get roasted because John has an agenda. He's going to get his message out. I don't mean that in a bad way, but here we go.
John, how do you kind of balance out all of some of the good things that happened in this game with kind of the end result? And how
I didn't see that.
Kind
I don't get the question. What do you mean? How do you balance it out?
when you look at this game, obviously there were a lot of good things that happened.
Yeah.
But the end result of it.
Yeah, it was. This is a stinger. Like, we shouldn't never leave this game with 0 points. We probably should have left with 2. So that's just, it happens in this game. It happens when you play 82 games. Unfortunately for us, it's happening a lot early in the season. But this group should close that game out. and we didn't. So that's probably a little bit of a concern.
As you talk about building and the process and everything, like where do you put a game like that in the process of getting to where you want to be?
I don't know. The whole season's a process, so I guess it'll fit somewhere, but it's lesson learned, I guess. Again, it's just probably take things for granted, with this team just for the past decade of what's gone on, and early on in this first week and a half, 2 weeks, it's not going the way we're used to it going, and you have to fight through it. You got to man up, and there's a lot of guys on the ice that dress every night. They've done a lot of great things for us. Maybe there's a little bit more load on their shoulders, but it's on them. Like they gotta stand up. They've been in this room for a long time, and they got to lead this team to victory. And tonight we just didn't do that.
Does the past successes
Well, you know what? This is good follow up by Eric. So we'll let it go.
give you the benefit of the doubt that knowing that they
No, I don't know. So what have you done for me lately? And past success was last year before that. It's not this year, and so there's new guys on this team that they need to be led, and the way we do things. And it's 10 minutes after a tough loss for us. So are there things we can learn from this game? There's no question, but we're better than that.
So this is basically the same thing that Bowles said on Sunday. Guys are living in their Super Bowl fantasy world, and this is the job of the coaches, and it's probably the number one job for both of these teams is to get them motivated and get that hunger back and keep that hunger. Because, when you're fat and happy and you got lots of big rings and everybody's patting you on the back, it's hard to get up for games to the level of intensity that you're going to face from these other teams night in and night out, day in, day out, Sunday, Monday, Thursday, whatever you're playing. This is the job of the players ultimately are responsible for responding, but it's human nature, and it's the hardest thing in the world to create that atmosphere as a coach. And you can hear Cooper creating it. You can hear Todd Bowles creating it.
Yeah.
They both are saying in a very public way, this is not acceptable. This is not good enough. And we're not going to stand for it.
Yeah.
We're not going to stand for it.
Couple things there to add, the Lightning, I just mentioned it. Stamkos has been great on the power play, 4 of his 6 goals on the power play. The Lightning, ironically, are at the top of the league in the power play, which no shocker there with 5 power play goals. But they only have 5 5-on-5 goals.
Yeah.
So, and they've had chances. Like last night, there were chances all over the place. And how many shots they ended with? Almost 40, right?
39 shots.
39 shots.
Corey Perry had 8 of them. And
they had their
3 or 4
chances. And
chances.
sometimes you run into a goalie that was just better than you last night. And
Carter Hart was good.
Carter Hart was really good. But
good.
I think the Lightning, though, I think they've been pressing for those 5-on-5 goals. And I think that might have played into why they kept pressing and they kind of lapsed defensively, because they kind of reverted back to what they were pre-Stanley Cups, where it wasn't enough just to beat the team 2-1 or 2-0 and move on to the next game. The Lightning changed their way. They adapted that in 2020 and 2021 and in last year as well. And they were the best team at getting a lead and nailing it down. And there you go. This year, they have not done that at all. And I think that's where Cooper said immediately, he's like, yeah, it's concerning. And he had that kind of look in his eye, like, yeah, we got to fix this quick.
And nip it in the bud.
And you made a good point, by the way, yesterday on the show. You don't want to be chasing points in February and March. And the Atlantic is too good now to play around with it.
Look what Ottawa did they scored up 6-3 in the second. I don't know what it finished. But, you're going to be every night. There's more depth to this division. There's no question about it. And, of course, you are the Lightning. Everybody wants to beat your ass. They're going to have to take their level up quickly because, you can't win the Stanley Cup in October, but you can damn sure lose it. And if you're chasing points in February and March, by the time you get to April and May, you're exhausted. And for a team that only has the shortest offseason in the last 3 years, they don't need that. It's a marathon, but in the marathon, what do runners do in the marathon? They have to conserve that energy until late when they need a kick. And if you have to kick, midway through the season, you got nothing at the end.
No.
You got nothing at the end. So, and Cooper knows that. And so it's important to get off to a fast start. I think last year they started a little slow and then they hit that freaking stride where they think they lost 6 games, all of November and December total. I mean, and so that's coming. I hope that's coming. But again, there's a lot of new faces here, and we'll, when we transitioned into talking to the Bucs, we'll do that as well. Let's finish up with Salty Coop. There's a little bit more.
It's hard to make generalizations this early in the season, but looking at some of the games that you guys have had, would you maybe say that there is a little bit of struggle closing games out?
Yeah. Hold on. We're having a pause.
We didn't have the lead in the Ranger game. We didn't have the lead in the Pitt game. We had the lead in Columbus game, and we closed them out. And tonight we had the lead and didn't close them out. So it's you got to get the lead first. And we've been chasing the game a lot, but tonight we weren't chasing the game, but we were chasing it in the third. And you look over at their bench, and there was a whole lot of life on that bench in the third period. And you look down on our bench, and there wasn't any. So that that probably lies a little bit of the issue of maybe there's some expectations that we think just throw your stick on the ice and we're going to be okay, and it's just not the case. Especially this new year.
What do you think of Nick and his debut? Perfect.
Did everything you want a defenseman. Made the passes we wanted. He didn't get beat. If you go through the tape, there going to be a mistake or two. I'm sure there are, but he should be really pleased with stepping in the NHL and playing a game like he did tonight. So it was good for him.
The 5-on-5 numbers have not been good this year. There were a lot of opportunities tonight, though. Did it feel like there was some improvement, at least in that area?
We had chances to score. I'm fairly certain the analytics for both teams will sit here and say we had more chances. But it's not about how many you score. We didn't need any more. We had the 2 and we were done. We didn't need to score any more goals. You can sit here and say, if we would have got the next one, that would have put Philly away. That's not how it works. You have to defend your way to wins. And that's what we had to do. And we didn't do it. And in the third period, you could arguably say we kind of changed the way we played it, but we started giving up the odd man rushes. We started pressing when we didn't have to. And in the end, we'd taken an extended long shift. We probably could have changed. We didn't. We stayed out there. We turned it over and ended up in our net. And so those are the things that, you have to learn every single year. You have to reprogram into your brain of the things you have to do. But it was just how we just let that one slip away. It's not our style.
He's pissed. He's pissed about how that went down. I don't blame him. But again, it's a great message, but the players got to get it. They got to get it, and they will. I'm not concerned about this team. I think they got a really good mix of good young players who can bring some fire. And, obviously the core group has great leadership. Yep. They know how to win. So I'm not concerned about this team, but we're watching. We're watching. They need to play well Friday, and then Saturday they got the Islanders coming in. So they need to get at least 3 points out of those 2 games, I think.
Yeah, I think it's a must. You want to address this immediately before it starts to linger once you get past the first 10 games of the season. But
right.
I mean, I'm looking for positives, and Stamkos we talked about. I thought Braden Point once again had a lot of jump in his legs yesterday, and coming back from the injury, he looks fully healthy. I mean, the first period, totally just. I mean, it looked like the seas just parted for him. I don't know what Philly's defense was doing, but they allowed Braden Point to just go right up down the ice, and he got in there tight on Carter Hart, and unfortunately wasn't able to really get a good shot off. But I just like to see the speed there from him.
Yeah.
So
we're a different team when he's on the ice.
Yeah,
we definitely missed that.
I always have worries with older players. When is it going to be when they hit that point where they just can't play? I think Corey Perry was one of the better players on the ice last night. So that tells me that there's still some gas in his tank. So that's a positive in my opinion. We already talked about Perbix and defensively he did everything he needed to do. So
Maroon's still the slowest guy in the ice.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, that was not the greatest fight.
It was the worst fight ever.
I stood up and I'm like, somebody do something, please.
It was a terrible fight. But they'll, I say they'll be fine, but they got to do it.
Also, tell me this too, because I tweeted this out last night, and I can't tell if it's ESPN's.
No, you were right.
Was I right?
Yeah. The crowd was a little low last night.
Very low for a home opener in the first period. I was like,
and by the way, it was a late arriving crowd. It was a late arriving crowd. There were, when they dropped the puck, the building was about, the lower bowl especially was about a quarter full, maybe half full. Yeah, it was not people. 7 o'clock games are tough, evidently for Tampa Bay Lightning fans, because they can't get into building by 7 o'clock. It's for whatever reason, traffic, whatever. It was a very, very slow build in for the fans, and there was not of course, second period, Lightning gets 16 shots, and the building was buzzing. It was really going. And then the third period was just kind of dead, and so was the team. Yeah.
No, it's the way it radioed over. I just wanted to ask you because I couldn't tell if this was like an ESPN issue.
Third period was like a Morgan there.
Really?
Yeah, it really was. I don't know if a lot of people left or whatever, but, of course, the Lightning didn't give them much to cheer about either.
Yeah.
So it was a little different. So, James, I think we have a new listener, watcher, James, who want to pop this up, who I think had something very interesting to say. You're going to cue up that sound, by the way, Big Ben. Big Ben said Brady looked like he didn't want to be there. I think Brady has zero confidence in his O-line, and that's the issue. Bowles needs to send a message and bench left guard, bench Darden. Could not agree more, James. Absolutely nailed it. There's a lot going on with the Buccaneers. We're going to talk to Jason Romano here at 10:30, and then we'll get back to the Bucs. But I just wanted to say, kind of transitioning from the Lightning to the Buccaneers, there's a lot of the same issues going on here. And I was listening to Rick Stroud's podcast this morning, and they were, talking a lot about how many different players that we have this year. And it's not the same team. Everybody is banging on the coaches, and I think, they deserve some blame. There's no question about it. But, to me, this is a personnel issue. This is a personnel issue more than anything else for the Buccaneers right now. We've talked about this for a long, long time. And they to times did a story today and kind of looked at all the free agents that were brought in, and nobody's helping. Julio's not helping. Logan Ryan now is on the DL. Hopefully will come back late in the season. Kyle Rudolph's been a complete MIA. Russell Gage had one good game and really hasn't done much. He hasn't seemed to be a difference maker. Of course, he's battling hamstring and ankle injuries. Keanu Neal's just been okay, not great. So Akeem Hicks, gave you a little bit something early on and gave you nothing now. All these guys were counted on to do something specifically, and they're not doing it. So, it's as good as Jason Light has been, and a lot of this is because of injury. I mean, Logan's injured. Akeem Hicks is injured, but especially
you knew what you bought, though.
Akeem's situation.
You knew what you bought.
You knew what you were getting
Julio
into.
Jones, you knew what you bought.
Ndamukong Suh didn't miss a game last year.
No, he did not. I think that's, and I'm not saying anything would be much different with Suh in there because the signs were there that there's a reason why he's still on the street.
Yeah.
Love Ndamukong Suh, the person. He was a great player next to Vita Vea for, I think, 2 years, but last year, game took a step back. The Bucs said, no, we can't do it. And there's a reason why he's still out there. So I don't fault Jason Licht, but you're not going to hit 1,000. No general manager has. And honestly, the Bucs have been spoiled because he has been so good for the last 4 or 5 years. Even before I thought what he had done, the nucleus of this team coming in before Brady got here, there was a reason why Brady picked here. Remember that?
Yeah.
Because he had done a good job making the roster desirable. So
yeah.
It's just the Logan Ryan. I mean, Logan Ryan's been dependable his entire career for the most part, and he picks up an injury. I mean, Kyle Rudolph. I mean, I could have told you that one right away. It was a whiff.
Yeah.
I mean,
you hoped he had a little bit something left, and he looked so good early on in camp. He was moving well, but I think as older guys, the more you
tight
run,
end position. Can't. I mean, he's just a liability. Can't block. I mean, Shaq Mason. I mean, I think he's starting.
I think he's playing.
He's
well.
starting to get to his better form. He was
fine.
great in Pittsburgh, but outside of him, it's hard to find a bright spot in that class.
No, and that's a lot of the issues. And the rookies are giving you some things, but it's more about the guys that you don't have, right? You don't have Gronk. You don't have Ali Marpet. You don't have Alex Kappa. You don't, for whatever reason, Ndamukong Suh, that position right there is not giving you. You don't have the leadership of JPP on defense.
There's one name I'm waiting for you to drop.
I said Gronk was a big part of it. Who am I missing? You
don't have Antonio Brown.
Oh, God.
I know nobody wants to have that conversation.
God.
I know nobody wants to have that conversation, but last year the Bucs offense looked absolutely insane when they had Evans, Godwin, and Brown on the field.
Okay, there's no question. You're missing that asset.
I'm not saying I want him in the locker room.
Say aspect, yeah. But you've got all the other garbage that comes with it.
Yeah, I know that.
Right.
I'm just saying that's a reason.
You're missing that aspect, that taking the top off the defense.
Yeah, he's the only one that would be out there that can.
But here's the other thing: Scotty Miller can do that.
Scotty Miller is not even close to Antonio Brown.
I know, but Brady's not even attempting to throw.
He's
the ball.
tried to throw it to Scotty Miller. He's underthrown him.
Yeah. Throw it better, right? So they've got to get back to doing a lot of things that they did. But the bottom line is their personnel is not the same. But here's where the coaching comes in, though. You got to coach around that.
Yeah.
And you got to, as James said, you got to bench people if they're not playing just because they're a second round pick. Luke Gedeke, if you ain't getting the job done, you got to try somebody else. And Todd Bowles said, yeah, and we didn't want to single him out, but I'm here to tell you, if Brandon Walton or Nick Levert ain't playing this week, then I call BS on it. You got to try somebody else because this guy's getting his ass kicked. And I understand, and he might be fine in the end, but you're asking a guy who is Scott Reynolds said on the show many times, there was a right tackle to move to left guard. And to move from a small school to the freaking NFL playing against Grady Jarrett, so you're asking. To me, that's a general manager problem. I think you're asking way too much of that cat.
Yeah,
way too much of that cat, and it's not working. And don't come on, if Jason, like I heard you and you did your interview pregame and tell me how great these guys are playing. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. You were an offensive lineman, Jason Light. You know how bad he's playing. So I understand. I understand. I'm not saying to throw the guy under the bus, but you could say they're growing pains. Don't come on and say, we love what they're doing. No, you don't. Come on. Yeah, but I get it. That's for public consumption for the masses. But no, he's not playing well. And if you continue to play him there, you're sending a message to the rest of the team that, hey, draft status, protecting the pick. And that's not something Jason has done in his career. He's been very, when he misses, and he replaces guys. This guy needs to sit down for a little bit.
And truthfully, I think that position, the ineptitude there throughout the first 6 games of the season is the biggest factor, in my opinion, to why the offense is going nowhere.
Yeah.
It has changed the way Brady's playing the game.
No question.
It changes the way he's seeing the field, maybe the way the plays are being called. It's that one position.
All right, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk some baseball playoffs with our good friend Jason Romano. We'll talk about the Rays, what's in store for their offseason, what do they need to do to get back into the postseason and actually win a game. That would be nice. So I'll talk to baseball when we come back. This is the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by Emerging Investigation and the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. Back in 3. Stay with us. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group. I've known Scott Jeeves for quite some time, and he's just like us, a huge college football fan. He loves his Gators. In fact, he sponsors our Gator Report every Thursday at 11 o'clock with Scott Carter from FloridaGators.com. But he's not just another PI attorney. He is a ferocious advocate for his clients. Scott Jeeves is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator practicing in Tampa Bay for over 30 years. He is an AV preeminent rated civil trial lawyer and certified circuit court mediator. Folks, these designations are not just given out. They're given only to the best trial attorneys. But more than anything, Scott takes these cases personally. I've heard it from his clients. He's a fighter you want on your side. Insurance companies hate it when they see you're represented by Jeeves. He's just different. 727-894-2929 or go to JeevesLawGroup.com. That's JEEVES lawgroup.com and tell him JP sent you.
Guys, let me tell you about Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Are you experiencing low sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, and you just don't feel like you have the vitality you once had? You're not just getting old. It's likely low testosterone. your treatment as needed for optimal results. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by Emerging Investigations. If you have any issues that you need a PI for, they are the folks to use, the leading agency in the Tampa Bay area. Great professionals over there, and it's kind of a weird deal, right? When you need a private investigator for something, you don't know really where to turn, what the process is. Just call Rachel D'Antonio over there, Emerging Investigations. They will explain the whole thing to you, how they do things, what the cost is going to be, walk you through it. Very easy process, and then you can decide what you want to do. But just find out. It's a free call. Just go to Emerging Investigations. EmergingINV.com is the website. Lots of information there. You can email them or contact them directly by phone and find out what it's all about. So get trusted information for life's biggest choices. That's Emerging Investigations, EmergingINV.com. All right, we want to bring in our good friend Jason Romano, agent to the baseball stars, former number 1 pick out of Hillsborough High School, former Devil Ray, once wore those great uniforms. What's up, Jason Romano? How are you, my friend?
Hey, what's up, JP? How you doing?
Well, we're in the middle of baseball playoffs, and since my Rays got eliminated, it's been a little hard for me to get into it. But it was quite the atmosphere yesterday at Yankee Stadium, and Stanton with the 3-run homer, Nestor Cortez in a winner-take-all game against the Guardians, and the Yankees move on and play the Astros. What are your thoughts on those two teams that are absolutely loaded?
Yeah, man, that's going to be I was talking to my son yesterday. He remembers, he's only 10 years old and remembers, how bad it was back in the day with the Yankees Astros, and it seems like it's only getting worse. I saw a lot of stuff online of the Yankees fans already yelling, "Houston sucks," right after the game. So it'll be interesting to say the least when they go to New York. Altuve and Bregman, they'll get booed big time.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And we're going to talk about the Rays here in a little bit, but you got the Phillies and well, let's talk a little bit Astros Yankees, because this is, baseball's got to love this. This is the two preeminent teams really in the American League with the biggest stars. So many great storylines. But it just seems to me like the Astros are with our man Kyle Tucker, friend of the show, obviously a good friend of yours as well. Yep. He's one of your clients, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
The Astros are just loaded. This is as good a baseball team as I've seen in a while, right?
Yeah, they're stacked top to bottom. The lineup, they just Altuve leading off, and the Pena kid stepped up, and then you start going with Jordan and Tuck and Yuli and just they nonstop up and down the lineup, and then their pitching is really it's gotten a lot better. These young Latin kids keep coming up, and Verlander at the top of their rotation. And then you got Framber Valdez, probably one of the best young pitchers in the game that a lot of people don't even know about, lefty. Yeah. And then, Christian Javier and so many others that just fill in. So they're going to be tough to beat. Yankees are out there to hopefully get them at home. And then, I think they jump out to a 2-0 lead coming out of Houston and head over to Yankee Stadium.
Really? Okay. All right. Yeah, and the Yankee Stadium is a very friendly place for them to play. That home run that got the Yankees going yesterday by Stanton, that right field porch is nice, isn't it?
It's almost like he sets up, he turns his body and just try to hit it right over there. It's amazing.
Right. And he's literally has to swing about 50%, Stanton and Judge, just make contact and get it airborne, and it's in the seats. If they do it,
with as hard as these bats are and these balls, they fly. So just to hit it 320 feet, it's a homer at Yankee Stadium right field. So you can tell a lot of those guys just focus on that batting practice and just try to drive balls that way.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? That's smart baseball, right? Smart baseball. So, All right. So you got the Astros in that series, the Phillies and Padres, and your man Kyle Schwarber. He definitely didn't hit a 320-foot home run last night, dude.
Wow.
That thing was a bomb. They measured it at 488 feet. I don't know. I've seen 500-foot home runs before. I never believe those
StatCast stats. I've seen that kid hit balls 500 feet, 550 feet, and they say it's like 420. So
right.
I don't know if they really know when it gets to going that far, but I know it was 120 miles right off the bat, which is ridiculous.
100. What was the exit velocity? 120.
120, yeah.
Oh my God! Do you have that? Do you have the? See if you can find that. I'm telling Nick to see if he can find the Schwarber home run. We'll play it here. That was 120 off the bat. Is that the highest exit velocity of the year?
It's top 3 or 4, yeah, for sure.
I don't think I've seen one this year. 120. Holy crap, man! What?
I know, that's amazing.
So Schwarber.
Yeah, he just got big power. He's been in a bad slump in the first part of his playoffs, but it looks like he kind of figured it out. Got some stuff going yesterday and a couple of hard hit balls. So if he gets going, he can carry that team.
So what do you think about the Phillies and the Padres? I mean, I don't think a lot of people saw this coming, but Zach Wheeler last night was great. They had a one-hitter. Yu Darvish only gave up 3 hits, but 2 of them were bombs. So this, what do you think about this matchup?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I do think the Padres end up pulling it out. I don't know why I said that feeling, but I'm kind of obviously rooting for the Phillies. It's just I feel like the Padres have some kind of magic going this season, and if Machado gets hot, he can carry that team as well. So it's going to come down to, I think, 7 games, which is going to be fun to watch.
Hey, I was just reading here that Schwarber's exit velocity 119.7 is the hardest hit ball in any postseason since StatCast began tracking in 2015. So there you go. There you go. Yeah, that's amazing. So baseball's a funny game. And take us through the offseason with Schwarber. And I mean, Rays fans would have loved to seen him in a Rays jersey, but, that was never good. Did the Rays show any interest in Kyle at all, or did they know that the Rays knew that he had no interest in the Rays?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of teams showed interest. There was definitely, people calling about him, from all over. But he had some kind of priorities he wanted to prioritize, and some teams that he kind of focused on, honed in on, and those teams seemed to reach out a little bit more. And, it took a little bit during the off season, but finally came to that deal. And I think he's in the right place. It's a good city for him. Yeah. Good team for him. They needed kind of that leadership in that clubhouse. And I think he's helping Bryce Harper become more of a leader. So
nice.
Just, a good situation for him and for the Phillies.
And I'm looking at the Phillies and the Padres won 89 games this year. The Phillies won 87 games this year, but here they are, the last 2 remaining in the NL. What is that? It's just postseason is just kind of, I mean, you look at the Dodgers and the Mets and the Braves and you're like, oh my God, all these teams were loaded, but here we are with the Phillies and the Padres.
Yeah. I mean, baseball is funny like that. That's why, going back to your Rays, they kind of do have the right sense of let's just get how many times can we get into the playoffs and then see if we can go on a run, because who's hot at the right time.
Yeah.
And, these teams that like the Dodgers and the Braves who ran through teams all year, they just didn't play great baseball for 3 or 4 games in a row and got beat. And so the Rays, if they're consistently making the playoffs, eventually they're going to go on a run and get hot and have a good month. And maybe that'll be in October one year and they can make it, run and win a World Series. But, just getting to the playoffs nowadays is a big deal. And your team's got to get hot. The Phillies kind of were terrible at the beginning of the year, and now they're just going on a better run. So you just never know.
I wanted to ask you a question about Aaron Judge, because I don't think we've had you on since, he hit the 60 home runs and all that. And, everybody's split on it. Is this the actual home run record? And I know how JP feels. I know how I feel about it. We're completely opposite. He thinks that this is the home run record.
Because I listen to people like Jason.
Yeah,
Romano,
I know you played with during the steroid era. So how would you kind of characterize the historic nature of Judge's season?
Yeah, honestly, I kind of will call him the home run leader at this point. I mean,
damn right.
I throw out Bond, I throw out McGuire, I throw out all those guys. Maris was first, and now I think Judge is first. So that's the way I see it. It's just I know we know those guys are cheating. So why are we gonna call them that? We know they did it the wrong way. And guys like me, like I've always told JP, I've played the right way and tried to do it the right way. So, I would say Judge is the home run leader in my opinion.
Well said, my friend. Hey, by the way, we're going to play this Schwarber home run here. Listen to the contact. Let's listen to the contact here. Love the sound.
That's how he's pitched tonight, backwards. And it is a breaking ball. Schwarber was ready. How far does this go? Second deck. Kyle Schwarber tees off. 2-0 Phillies.
Look at Bryce Harper's mouth. Play that again. Listen to this. This sounds like a gun going off. Listen to this.
That's how he's pitched tonight, backwards. And it is a breaking ball. Schwarber was ready. How far does this go? Second deck. Kyle Schwarber tees off. 2-0 Phillies.
Holy hell. I don't think I've ever heard a sound like that.
I know, right? Gosh, that ball was smoked. He sat back on that backside and didn't move. Perfect.
So, and that was a breaking ball. What would he do to a fastball?
Oh, man. Yeah, he's on track. He'll hit 500-some home runs this career.
You think? Yeah, he probably will.
I did.
So
for a long time.
All right. So, and now transitioning to the Rays. Yep. Obviously, they need, and we had Smoltz on a couple weeks ago, and he talked about, the Rays have figured out the regular season, but in the postseason, you need proven power. You need consistent power. Home runs score 64%, I think, of the runs in the postseason. And that's something that the Rays just have refused to pay for. That's expensive in this game. And Kyle Schwarber is a perfect example of it. How do the Rays, you explained that Kyle had, certain things that he didn't want to play for the Rays. And I don't know if it's because of Tropicana Field. A lot of hitters, as you've told me, feel like the lights are bad in there. It's a bad hitting place. That's why pitchers love coming here and hitters don't. But it's just the Rays have never spent for proven power. They won't do it.
Right.
And can they ever be successful in the postseason without going out and getting a Kyle Schwarber or getting, trading for a Juan Soto or somebody who's going to, drive in 100 runs and hit you 30 bombs every year?
Right. Yeah. I mean, the bottom line is you gotta pay for offense. I mean, it's just hard to home grow that kind of offense. I mean, you bring up Wander Franco, and when he's healthy, he can provide some, but they're going to have to go out and spend some money eventually if they want to get to that next step and really compete for a World Series. They do a great job. Don't get me wrong. I don't know how they do it. They beat these big teams and they somehow make the playoffs, and a lot of credit to Kevin Cash.
Yep.
But I just think at some point, they got to get a lockdown first baseman or catcher, somebody with some thump on the corners.
Yep. Yeah, I totally
Maybe
agree.
they're waiting for Pete Alonso to become a free agent.
Do you think Pete would want to? But I mean, how much would a new stadium, with that's a little bit more hitter friendly, that would create an atmosphere like they've created in Atlanta? Like, how much more would that allow them to spend money and also get free agents? Considering maybe they would have a different owner, because clearly this one has no interest in spending money. But
big time. I mean, it's just such a big deal. I took a group of friends. We were down in Miami a couple weeks ago, and they just looked at that stadium like, wow, why don't we have something like this in Tampa?
Yeah.
Even though they don't fill it up down there, it's just a nice atmosphere to be in. The Trop is so boring and so bad, and players hate playing there. So I don't know what, I mean, it seems like we just keep dragging our feet. Here we are 10 years later still talking about it. So I don't know what's ever going to happen.
Yeah, I know, but it's such a, for Rays fans, I don't think they put it together that this stadium deal and all of this goes hand in hand with winning. And the Rays have handicapped themselves so dramatically with not pushing forward a new stadium, not spending money that the Rays actually do have, as we found out, the $500 million that Sternberg has in another account from the lawsuit, and they just refuse to spend it. And I keep telling, and people want to talk about, especially in the media here, well, they can't spend money. Yes, they can. They've got the money to spend. They just choose not to, right?
Right. Yeah, they got the money. There's no secret that these teams make a lot of money from the baseball advanced media, the BAM, and TV revenue, and they have all kind of sources coming in. So there's definitely revenue coming in. They're running as a business, and they're going to profit, which can't blame them on that either. But at some point, you got to spend to win. So hopefully, I don't know if they ever change their model, but if they do, I think they'd have a better chance of going a little further.
Yeah, because I think a lot of these players, like Kyle Tucker and Pete Alonso, would love to play at home. Yeah. They would love to play in the Tampa Bay area.
Absolutely,
but you got to create an atmosphere.
Get paid and sleep in your own bed. Why you can't beat that?
Right? Exactly. It would be, it would be like the Buccaneers and the Lightning, the places where people want to come play. But as long as you have this stadium and this ownership group, it's just not going to be an attractive place to come, in my opinion. Hey, before you go, give me an update on all your clients and the local kids here. We know Kyle Tucker. We know what he's doing and just having an amazing season. What about all the other clients you got?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Brady Singer with the Royals had a great second half, like one of the best pitchers in the American League.
Yeah.
He's going into arbitration.
Ooh, nice.
Brendan Rodgers from the Rockies had a breakout year for himself too. He's from Orlando area. He's going to arbitration as well.
Nice.
And then guys like Jake Woodford had a low 2 ERA with the Cardinals from playing high school.
Yeah, he had a great
Michael
year.
Givens got traded to the Mets and went to the playoff run there. Did pretty well. Connor Scott got traded to the Pirates this year. He's doing well. So yeah, Tommy Mace, drafted at the University of Florida, and Judd Fabian, drafted at the University of Florida, started their careers. A lot of guys coming out. So I'm up to 18 clients. So it's a lot of traveling and pretty busy.
Yeah, I see all going all around. Anybody in the pipeline here that we should be watching for? Local high school
actually,
kids?
heading over to University of Florida today to watch a 6'9" lefty, Pierce Capola, New Jersey kid.
Ooh.
He's pitching for the Gators now, sophomore. He's throwing 96, 97 miles per hour.
Wow.
So he's going to be awesome. And then this past draft, I had a client of mine turn down a lot of money to go to Florida State. I know you'll be happy about that.
Yes, well done.
So he's a freshman at Florida State. His name's Cameron Smith, and he's potentially the first overall pick next year, 2024.
Where's he from? Where did he play high school?
From West Palm Beach.
Cameron Smith. Okay, turned down. So
this kid's going to be special. I'll send you some video on him. Wow.
What does he play?
Shortstop.
Shortstop,
third base. Yeah, he's going to be amazing.
Well, that's interesting, and hopefully he's got a nice NIL deal. Hopefully are these baseball players getting NIL deals?
Yeah, he's an NIL client. Yep.
Nice. Okay, how does that work for baseball? There's
they're not huge deals, but whatever you can get, free product, little stuff here and there.
Yeah, that's good. That they deserve it.
Some money.
No doubt. It's good for college baseball because kids like that can make some money and go play college baseball, which is something that they would like to do as well. Yeah,
anything helps.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Jason Romano, thanks so much. What do you got going on? Any charity things going on? I know you did a run down to Fort Myers a couple of weeks ago with some hurricane supplies. You got anything else going on we need to publicize?
At this time, no. We'll probably have some events later in the off season when the guys start doing their charity work. So I'll let you know for sure.
Absolutely. We'd love to help
I
any way we
appreciate
can.
it.
You got it, Jason.
All right,
Thanks,
JP.
buddy.
Thanks,
Appreciate
man.
it. Always great to chat with you. Good
See
stuff. Great Jason Romano right there. I mean, this is why, I think Rays fans, we don't talk about it enough. This is, we do, but it's just never the central theme, and it should be. It should be.
Yeah, I mean,
look at the Padres. They're the 26th largest market. We're a small market. We can't afford it. Bull crap. Bull crap.
Yeah, you just kind of have to have you got to have people upstairs that are going to kind of grab the bull by the horns and be like, no, we're going to do this. We're going all in. And the Padres did that. I want to say 7-8 years ago. They spent a lot of money on like James Shields, Justin Upton, Craig Kimbrell, and it fell flat on their face.
Will Myers.
They fell flat on their face.
Yeah.
But to their credit, they kept at it and said, you know what? We got to spend money. Eventually you're going to get it right.
You got to compete with the Dodgers?
Yeah. And when that division, I mean, the Giants have all the money in the world to spend. I mean,
and what do these places have in common? They have great stadium situations, new stadiums, great stadium situations.
Petco, I never thought much of Petco until the last few years. They've turned Petco into an absolute experience.
Oh my God. I first time I went there about 7-8 years ago, as I got family in San Diego. Every time I go to San Diego, I go to that park just because I love the park.
Yeah, and the fan base is rowdy all the time. It's
really
I love their announcer. He's great. He makes everything feel like a big moment.
Yeah.
They have a lot going on there, but it's like I try to keep perspective with the Rays because we know that they can spend more money, and this is not a small market. But at the same time, I look at the American League, and it's the Yankees and the Astros. I mean, at some point, it's like I almost could tell you, like, I don't know what the Rays could have done, but were they really ever going to surpass those teams? I don't know. I'd like to see you put yourself in a better position to do it. But the problem is everything has to go right your way the way you do it right now. And I think Cleveland, everything was going right until it didn't against the Yankees in the last 2 games, and then you lose.
Yeah.
But here we are.
And what happened? Why did the Cleveland lose Game 5?
They couldn't hit.
Yeah, 2 home runs by.
And when your pitching breaks just for 1 inning, when it breaks, that's all it takes.
And Giancarlo Stanton with the cheap shot.
That bothers me, man. I hate that damn stadium. That stadium, they need to tear it down and start over. Stop having a Mickey ballpark.
Well, you can see that it's that little porch area in right field that they've extended out. Just take it out. Take it out.
I think I saw Schwarber's home run. I don't even know if this is even serious or not, but it said that his home run would be out of Yankee Stadium twice.
What do you mean twice?
See, I don't even know what that means, but I lost it here.
StatCast?
Here it is.
Yeah.
Right here. So Kyle Schwarber's 488-foot home run would be out of Yankee Stadium twice. So they put two Yankee Stadiums back to back on each other, and it would have
started the home plate at the right field.
Yes.
At the right field bleachers where the right field starts, and so it would have gone out.
Yeah, it would have gone out twice.
480. Yeah, that was a bomb. That ball, I think it goes over 500 feet. No question about it. That was incredible. This is sound that it made. But here's the thing: put Kyle Schwarber in the middle of the Rays lineup with 46 home runs. How does that change the lineup? Just one guy.
It changes the mentality.
Changes the entire
lineup.
Yeah, and imagine if you had two guys. Imagine if you had, a Schwarber, and then pick another free agent that we missed on last year. And two guys. And by the way, your active payroll right now is about $30 million. So even two guys at $20 million a year.
Yeah.
Because you got so many good young players right now. You're still at $70, $80 million.
And I tell you what, I'm kind of split. I keep hearing there's all these rumors right now going around of what the Rays could do. They have 19 guys in arbitration. Who do they want to bring back? Who do they want to potentially shop? I want the team, like there's guys on this team that I think can be productive, but they need more around them. And I'm seeing a lot of people are saying, well, maybe it's time to trade Randy Arozarena. Let's his value's as high as it's going to be. Let's move on while he's on a cheap contract. It's like, I see the point that people are making, but the Rays, I don't think have the luxury to move on from Randy Arozarena, because you take him out of the lineup. How much weaker are you getting? And do you trust this team to bring in somebody to replace him?
Well, that's the thing, that if you're going to trade Randy Arozarena, then you have got to bring in proven power.
If you're trading Randy Arozarena, you are doing it to bring in prospects.
Exactly. Well, okay, so you can bring me prospects back for Arozarena.
That's not what
but
I'm.
you better
I'm all
free
about.
agent. You better get a free agent who's.
And that's what I'm saying.
You
do
got
you
or
trust
two.
them to do it?
No, of course not. No, of course not.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing.
If they're going to trade Arozarena, and by the way, let's not sugarcoat this. There are rumors, and I hate to say it that way, but he seems to be an issue with the fight with Yandy Diaz.
He was awful at the end of the season.
Yeah, they both were. After that fight that they had, that altercation that they said was a verbal altercation that somehow caused Yandy Diaz to be out with a shoulder injury. Boy, those were some really nasty. To penetrate the rotator cuff and everything. So, I mean, clearly there's a physical altercation with these cats. That's bad for in Arozarena. Maybe he's not good for the clubhouse. And if you're gonna shop him, you better bring back some power.
Here's the thing I will say about Randy Arozarena too, and this is another reason why people are saying, well, you consider trading him. He's a Scott Boras client.
Trade him.
That all you need to know right there.
Yeah.
He is not signing long-term with the Rays.
No.
And Randy Arozarena, by the way, he's one of the few Rays who was known league-wide, okay? He put himself on the map with that postseason.
Yeah, he did.
And maybe he's living off of that a little bit. You can argue whatever. He put himself in national circles by that postseason, okay? And there would be a team that would be lining up to sign. And he just stole 30-something bases and had 20-something home runs. Those are hard to find with outfielders.
Yeah.
They're hard to find.
Yep.
Okay, with a guy who up until this season has produced in the postseason. Very hard to find. There would be teams lining up for Randy Arozarena. So I see it from that point. The value is high.
Yeah.
But if you're the Rays, I think 2023, you're positioned so much better to compete than you were this year. So do you want to start already moving off of those pieces? I don't think so. I think you have to ride this out for another year and add to what you have at the moment.
Well, listen,
hope for some better health.
You traded Austin Meadows. And again, I don't go by what he did someplace else, because if he were here, he would have been more comfortable. Who knows I know how productive he was with the Rays. That's what I would have projected him to be. And if you're gonna get rid of 106 RBIs, you better freaking replace it. And you did not. You did not. And you could say Itzhak Paredes, he hit 20 home runs. Great. He needs to be better.
Really inconsistent.
He's super inconsistent. And
which I expected.
And there's no way. Exactly. There's no way to automatically project, he's going to get better. Is he? Do we know that for a fact? Or has the league caught up to him know where the holes are in him, and he's not going to be able to adjust. We don't know that. I hope he will, but we don't know.
I'm
talking about this is like you sign guys that have done it in this league consistently, like Kyle Schwarber, who's been a little up and down. I get it, but he's had some big moments in big games, and he did it again yesterday.
World Series champion.
Yeah, these are the guys that you need, and they provide leadership. They provide power. It changes the lineup. It changes the players around them. It makes the other players around them better. And if you're going to compete with the Yankees and Astros, you got to go out and spend money to do it.
Hell, even look at what the Braves did. You can say that maybe the moves they made at the deadline last year were minimal, but one of the moves they made was Jorge Soler.
Right.
Very one-dimensional. All he does is hit home runs.
Right.
But guess what? He hit a lot of home runs in the World Series, didn't he? And he was the World Series MVP.
Right. Those guys cost money. They cost, you got it, but you can play the penny pinching game and you can win in the regular season and you can prevent the hell out of them. But when it comes to the postseason, that's where the big dogs thrive. And if you want to win a World Series,
and my expectations are only there because you're one of 7 teams. You're only one of whatever teams to make the playoffs 7 times in the last decade or whatever it is.
Exactly.
And you're the only one not to win a World Series. So that's why my expectations are higher.
And the fact is that you've proven you can do the hard part. That you can win, you can find a lot of good, young, cheap players. All right, so now augment that with some proven players, and get to the league average payroll, which you're still $70, $80 million under that, and go play.
Yeah,
and go play. And that's you can do that. Now your profit margin is going to go way down. I don't care about that. Sorry, I don't care about that, and nobody should care about that. Nobody should care about that because this is not your own personal ATM, Stu. Well, it is, but it shouldn't be. This is about winning and spending the money that you're making to put back into the product, which you said you would do, but you don't do. So if you're expecting postseason success on this formula, it ain't happening. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back on the other side, and we're going to hear Ben Roethlisberger talk about what he saw from Tom Brady. Because Roethlisberger was at the game this past weekend and had some interesting comments about Tom Brady. And we'll talk about what's going on with the Bucs and how they need to fix it. Boy, it's a get-right game this week. Back in 3. Stay with us. Was your car totaled in an accident? Did your insurance company use Kelley Blue Book or NADA to appraise the value of your car? Chances are they didn't, and you got shorted maybe thousands of dollars. Call the Jeeves Law Group for a free case evaluation because your insurance company may still owe you money. 727-894-2929. It's a free call, so why not find out if you have a case? Insurance companies have been running this scam for a while, and most folks don't know if they've been shorted. Trust me. Scott Jeeves is a different kind of attorney, the kind insurance companies hate to go up against. He could recover thousands of dollars, so why not call? 727-894-2929 or go to JeevesLawGroup.com. That's JEEVES lawgroup.com and tell them JP sent you.
JP here for Emerging Investigations, Tampa Bay's premier investigation agency. Do you suspect your spouse is cheating or involved in a divorce, that your spouse is hiding money, an ex-employee or current employee with suspicious behavior? Is there a criminal matter you need help with? If you need information you can count on, using the professionals at Emerging Investigations is a slam dunk. Emerging Investigations is a licensed and insured private investigation agency, family-owned. Emerging is your ideal resource to secure evidence and validation, allowing you to make informed decisions in life's biggest matters. Led by industry executive Brian D'Antonio, Emerging possesses the experience and resources to get needed results. Emerging Investigations maintains an excellent reputation as a premier investigation agency. They are known for results. You're not just hiring a PI, but an organized, dedicated team using state-of-the-art technology. Their proven investigative methods produce crucial information used in criminal cases, insurance fraud, and personal injury claims. Many local attorneys, industry agencies, and your concerned neighbors all count on Emerging Investigations. Just go to their website, emerginginv.com, or call 813-291-FACT. That's 813-291-FACT-3228. Get results you can trust in life's biggest matters. Emerging Investigations. Now is the time to make sure your home insurance is in order. In the last year, many of us have made improvements to our homes So call the folks at Italiano and discuss these upgrades to make sure you have enough coverage. According to a recent report, almost 64% of homeowners don't have enough insurance on their home, which is their most valuable asset. Also, a great time to make sure you have flood insurance. Even if your mortgage company does not require flood insurance, your home could still be at flood risk. Another big item as we enter hurricane season is making sure your pool enclosure is added to your policy and there will be no issue at claim time. That happens a lot. So call your friendly agent at Italiano Insurance to review your policies today. 813-877-7799 or ItalianoInsurance.com.
Hey guys, Serena Fazan here for the Gold and Diamond Source. Are you looking for the hottest trends in men's jewelry? Ladies love to see men spice it up with something cool from the Gold and Diamond Source. Whether you're looking for a gold chain, fashion rings, even a pre-owned Rolex watch, or thinking about getting engaged, there's only one place to go. Go see my friends, Julie and Steve Weintraub at the Gold and Diamond Source for your one-stop jewelry supercenter. It's never been more important to shop local and support the businesses that support our amazing Tampa Bay community. None better than the great folks at the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Ulmerton Road, or online at goldendiamond.com.
Attention, if you are home shopping or looking for a refinance, and even if you already have the approval letter, you must call my man Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Scott has a brand new program available in the greater Tampa Bay area called the Community Advantage Loan Program. Get this, no money down, no mortgage insurance, no points, no origination fee, purchase or refinance, and loan amounts up to $647,000. Now, there are some application requirements. It must be a single-family home, one unit, primary residence, and have a minimum 640 credit score. The program only applies to certain neighborhoods, so you have to call to find out if you qualify. So call Scott Fitzgerald at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Now, even if you don't qualify for that program, Scott will shop your loan around, get you the best rates, and won't charge you the huge upfront fees. And if you've had issues with your bank calling you back, Scott will return calls immediately or at least the same day. 813-294-7595 or email him, scott@amstampa.com. Scott Fitzgerald, MLS 386722, American Mortgage Services, 1000 North Ashland Drive, Suite 1020, Tampa, Florida.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's rock. This is FanStream Sports with JP.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. In our second hour, Corey Long will join us at 11:30. Covers the Bolts, the Bucs, college football. So we'll talk all things football with him. We're brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and his medical team over there will get you right. Testosterone replacement therapy. Something that you should probably look into, folks. American men are losing 1% of their testosterone levels each and every year. So do the math, guys. If you're 50 years old, you're down 50%. So get in there, get your blood work done, and get it done by a professional who will personalize a program for you and monitor your levels from an emotional and physical standpoint. And if you're looking to lose some weight, by the way, they have a special going on their weight loss programs right now, and do it the right way and not have the weight come back, do lifestyle changes, some other things that can help you. So Bay Area Modern Medical Center can get you right, BAMMC.com. All right, before we get into the Roethlisberger comments and some stuff on the Bucs, I wanted to get to a couple other comments from our wonderful listeners. By the way, you can always comment on our YouTube. Go to the JP Peterson Show, search that on YouTube. Please subscribe there, and you can jump in on the comments, and we'll put them up here for you. James says, if he doesn't make those easy no-brainer moves, what message does that send in terms of changing out the left guard and some other positions as well? Maybe there needs to be more playing time for guys.
And Jason Licht, by the way, to that point, has always been quick to understand a draft failure or if something's not working to move off of that.
Yeah.
So I don't see why Gedeke should be any different.
No. And Bowles said that. He said, Gedeke's no different than any other position. We evaluate it all the time.
He's giving me Caleb Beninock vibes, to be honest with you.
Yeah, listen. And
can't do it.
And again, I don't think this is as much a failure of the player as it is Jason Licht and the coaching staff. You're asking a guy to do a lot that he's not capable of doing.
Let's be honest.
That's
though.
bad coaching.
If Aaron Stinney didn't get hurt, it probably wouldn't be as big of an issue because Aaron Stinney would be in there. So let's keep that into account.
Yeah.
Injuries did not help them, and it's hard to just find able bodies on the street that aren't that good offensive linemen. It's hard to trade for offensive linemen. So.
Well, and there's the question. As Joe F. says, Light needs to make a move. He should have made a move in the offseason for offensive linemen. Needs something to show the team that we are committed to this year, Super Bowl or bust this year. Well, I think they've shown their commitment, and they went out and got Shaq Mason. And the Ali Marpet thing kind of came out of left field a little bit, so we'll give them a little break for that. But they knew in the draft that they had to find a guy, and they chose a guy that played right tackle. That has never played left guard, never played on the left side. Those are different steps. Those are different punches. Those are a lot of different things that he has to learn. And again, I think if you as a coaching staff believe a guy can do something, then he shows you that he can't, you need to make a move. You miscalculated.
I'll give you a name that's out there that nobody's talking about, and he has some versatility on the offensive line. Eric Flowers. You recall Eric Flowers, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Last year he was with Washington. Per PFF, he graded out as an above average offensive lineman. I will take above average any day of the week.
Well, I said
He's still out there.
When Ryan Jensen went down, I said it immediately. Go get somebody. Go get somebody.
Yeah.
You got to go get somebody on that interior line. And even if they think Ryan Jensen can come back, which is still a very big if, I would have given up a second-round pick, and if it's the right guy, a first-round pick. If you're going to get me somebody that's going to be here a while and you can trade for him, and, because there's always veteran offensive linemen out there where teams draft guys to take their place, and maybe they're further along, or maybe that particular team needs draft picks more than it needs, somebody who's going to, there's a lot of different ways. And we're not privy to that. We're not privy to what was talked about. But my bottom line was you need to go get somebody in the interior offensive line. What you have is not good enough. And I think that's borne out. I think that's borne out to be one of the biggest problems. And it's not just Gedeke, by the way. Hainsey, I don't think Hainsey's played poorly, but
the Pittsburgh game was his worst game.
Yeah. There's just having two inexperienced guys in there. We talked about it. Every national show in the world talked about it. And I thought the offensive line was in better hands because I trusted Jason Light that this Gedeke kid was going to be, the second coming of the small school players that you got before. You got Ali Marpet. It's a home run you hit there from Hobart. Alex Kappa. Another home run from a small school. So we figured Gedeke would be the glass eater, and he just hasn't been.
None of that.
He just hasn't been. So at this point, 6 games in, you got to make a move.
And I don't think it's helped either that the guy next to him to his left, who is supposed to be the most experienced guy on the line, is playing hurt. I don't think that's helped either.
No, and it's his right elbow too, right?
Yeah.
So playing right next to them, you attack that gap, it's going to be an issue. But here's the other thing about that too. I've seen really good play callers and really good coaching staffs coach around some horrendous offensive lines and still get production. You saw it out of Cincinnati last year.
Yeah, they don't do it.
And this is something that the Bucs have not been. Look what Mike Tomlin did last week. His entire secondary was decimated, and he coached around it. He disguised everything and baited the Bucs into doing things that they're not best at, which is running the football 26 times against the team whose secondary is decimated and can't stop the pass. And why would you run 26 times? That's just ridiculous because they're showing you looks that you should be able to run the ball, but then they're coming up and disguising it well. So you took the bait. That's coaching. Yeah. You got to be able to coach around. If Luke Gedeke's not getting it done, either replace him or coach around it. Double teams, but leaving him one-on-one with the Grady Jarrett's of the world ain't working.
Yeah.
That ain't working. That's bad coaching. So you're compounding a bad decision in trying to move a guy from right tackle, small school, to left guard, NFL. That what you overestimated. He can't handle it.
Yeah.
And now you're compounding it by not coaching around it and giving him help.
Yeah. A lot of people here in the comments. Here's one from James about rolling the dice on Akeem Hicks's injury. Not a smart move. And T. Corral just chimed in and said, we should have kept Sue a step slower, but you ain't running up the middle, and he plays every game. Those are valid. Listen, I think we talked about that a little bit in the first hour. It's valid. Ndamukong Suh just did not miss games. He was a warrior, but the play dipped. Akeem Hicks, for his injuries, he's like 4 or 5 years younger than Ndamukong Suh. Yeah. But your best
seemed like a good roll of the dice.
Best ability is availability. It's the oldest cliche in the book, but it's true. And Akeem Hicks was not available for Chicago that much for the past couple seasons. He's a shell of himself, and now he's injured. And guess what? When you're older and you have a lot of injuries accumulating, it takes a longer time for you to get back. And the way Todd Bowles speaks about it, he almost sounds very disappointed with the
does.
fact that they haven't gotten him back. And
He sounds a little ticked off.
the result is that Logan Hall is in there. And, I've been impressed with Logan Hall in stretches, but we talked about this rookie class. I thought because of the Bucs, they brought in so much experience, you weren't going to have your rookie class do much. And now Logan Hall is playing meaningful snaps. Gedeke, we just talked about, is having to play a lot. Even like K. Dotton and Ko Keefe, that's your tight end room right now.
Yeah.
That's what you have.
Yeah.
I mean, your entire rookie class, for the most part, is having to play meaningful snaps at key positions.
Yep. I just, these are things that the coaching staff needs to make moves on. And in this, we also have to keep this in mind. This team is 3-3. And
could be worse.
It could be worse. And you look around the NFL right now, there's a lot of mediocrity. And I think a lot of it has to do with teams you're not getting a lot of done in the preseason. You're still finding your way. You're trying to figure out what you do best. And I think the Bucs are in that category. I think Brady has not we talked a lot about this yesterday, and I said it, and I'll keep saying it. He's not as engaged as he was previously. The facts are the facts. He left for 11 days. He retired for 40 days. He didn't practice a few Wednesdays. He's changed that. He took the trip for the wedding. Those are things that have never been on his resume, ever. So you can sit here and tell me all along it's the same Tom Brady. No, it's not. Factually, that is an untrue statement.
Yeah, and
factually,
I tell you what, too. There was it was going around this morning on Twitter and late last night. It wasn't one of the headlines originally in the Let's Go podcast. I don't know if you've got a chance to see it, but he had an excerpt in there. I'm gonna try to find the excerpt real quick and read it.
I listened to. I'll be honest with you. I didn't listen to the Kevin Durant part. I skipped over.
Yeah, and I want to say this might have came after that, but
this is the worst parts of their podcast when they bring on Aaron Judge or KD and they
here it was, but
kiss each other's ass.
This was a quote from Tom Brady talking about dealing with everything during football season. I just think I almost look at it like a football season, like you're going away on deployment in the military. Yeah. And it's like, man, here I go again. There's only one way to do it. And I think, Jim, we've talked about from time to time just about how do you enjoy the certain moments of it. The reality is you can only be authentic to yourself, right? Whenever you say, oh, man, I want to, make sure I spend a little more time doing this. When it comes down to it, your competitiveness takes over. And as much as you want to have this playful balance with the work balance, you're going to end up doing exactly what you've always done, which is why you are who you are. You're going to go, how do I get it done? What do I have to go to do to get it done?
Exactly. So to me, that what that tells me is that he's had a foot in and a foot out.
Yes.
And they always say when you think about retirement, you're retired. And so this tells me, and I heard that in the podcast, and I was like, that's interesting. So this tells me, has he come to the realization that he can't have work-life balance during the season? He tried it,
it's not working.
And when I'm telling you, when you go away and you do what he did, and then you stink up the joint, you can't hide. You can't. You could sit. All of y'all could sit there and tell me till you're blue in the face, and so am I. Oh, it had nothing to do with it. It had nothing to do with it. You lost to the Steelers, who had no secondary, none. You're Tom freaking Brady with Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, a little bit of a Russell Gage, nicked up. You still got weapons. You got Leonard Fournette. You got Rashad White. You got weapons against a bunch of low-level college players, and you stunk up the joint. You couldn't. Come on, and it just so happens that's the only time ever in your career that you weren't at a Saturday walkthrough. You can't hide from that. You cannot hide from that. And you go look at the tape. There are guys that were lined up in the wrong spot. There was a play where it seems damn straight to everybody else that they were running the ball. And Brady pulled the ball
and I don't understand
in a play-action move, and everybody was like, there's a lineman downfield. Everybody's like, wait.
And I can't understand that because obviously you're in the huddle. Like, everybody should be on the same page, right? How is the quarterback the one that's not on the same page?
He missed it. Just like when he put up 4 fingers. He missed it. Just like the 2-point conversion. He missed it. And letting the clock run out. Are these things that Brady does normally? No, never.
A lot of more mental errors now.
Yes. Come on. Let's just be blunt about this. This is not the same Tom Brady. Let's listen to Ben Roethlisberger, who was on the sideline this week at the Steelers game.
When you have a shot to like go against the
goat.
The goat. You're like, yeah, let me take him. Did that ignite any that competitor? No,
nothing. Nope. I was up there just happy as could be watching the game.
Yeah.
Because I was watching the game, and to me, this is just my opinion. And Tom is the greatest. I mean, the Super Bowl rings show it and talk about it and whatever. It didn't look like he wanted to be out there. I mean, and maybe it was the pressure that, and he was getting hit, and whatever was going on. And I remember, I at one point I looked down there. I was telling, I don't know if I told Jason or Brian, but I'm like, there's no way he's enjoying this. No way. Maybe, but so I was up there I was enjoying being up there watching the game, but it just didn't look fun to him.
I know. I said the same thing to my wife. We were watching at home. I was like, man, this doesn't seem like the Tom Brady. It just felt like a different competitor. It didn't seem like the dude. And I don't know that
he's got a lot going on, obviously, as you hear and read about whatever. I know he just went up to his former owner's wedding like 2 days before.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's big news now that he flew up there, missed a walkthrough, and went up there. And it's whatever you choose to do. But and like I said, when a defense gets after you, like sometimes your anger and your disgust for things happen because the other team is affected, not just because it's you. So
right.
But yeah, it did. It just looked like a different Tom.
It's Ben Roethlisberger. What show is that we need to attribute?
The Footballing Podcast. That's his weekly podcast.
Look, that's a guy who's done it before for a lot of years, who knows Tom Brady very well, and he's saying the same things that we've been saying.
It's body language.
It's body language.
They can observe. We can see it at home.
Absolutely, and it's not just in the game; it's at the press conferences. Ever since, and folks, this is not normal for Brady. And I go all the way back to the scheme to get out of Tampa Bay, the retirement, then putting the team back together. Okay, everybody's happy. Now you got the off the field stuff that's going on that is laying heavy on his mind. This is not anywhere close to the preparation that Brady is used to. And that is his calling card. Preparation. That's how he beats you. Like I said, it'd be like Lamar Jackson getting fat.
Yeah.
It ain't going to work.
I tell you what,
it ain't going to work.
I tell you what, too. I know you always scoff at the Colin Cowherd stuff, but I listened to him yesterday on this, and he had a good take yesterday about
what did he say?
And I was going to bring this up yesterday.
What did the sellout say?
Chill out. Anyway, he said that, he looks at the struggles of Brady and the Bucs right now, Russell Wilson and the Broncos. There's a lot of similarities there.
Yeah.
Those are guys who were not uber talented guys. When they were,
I disagree with that on Russell's part.
He was a third, fourth round pick that wasn't expected to start.
They Brady was a 6th-round pick. What's your point?
You get the point. They weren't first round picks.
He's not tall.
They weren't first round picks.
That's the reason he was not. His production in college, his arm strength, his accuracy, his
short
athleticism. That's why he fell in the draft, because he's short.
Okay, but he had to work very hard,
right.
And he was always a very hard worker,
right.
and one of those guys and a very good leader. And now you turn on the television, he's everywhere. He's on Subway commercial. He's on every commercial.
Yep.
He's got all these different. He's doing documentaries, business ventures. Tom's doing the same thing, and he brought up a good point. Those guys have to work extra hard in prep because of the limitations that they came into the league with.
Exactly.
There's a difference when Patrick Mahomes has 30 commercials because he's the most talented quarterback the game has ever seen.
Right.
He can do it and get away with it. These guys, take away their preparation, they're not the same. I thought that was a great point that he made.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. And that's why this quote is important. It's why I said on Monday, Tom Brady needs to go into that locker room and apologize to his teammates for taking this team for granted this week, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and going on, because I think that was part of it. They thought they were going to whoop their ass because that's a terrible football team that was hurt. And I said it last week on this program. I said, watch out. Watch out for Mike Tomlin. Watch out. They're going to outcoach you, and you're as depleted as they are. I still thought the Bucs could get the job done, but I said it's going to be closer than the experts think. And they got embarrassed. It's 2 weeks in a row. 3 weeks in a row they've been embarrassed in my mind for the level that they should be playing at. You get run out the gym by the Chiefs. You should have lost to the Falcons. You got 2 bad calls that went against the Falcons that saved your ass. and then you get beat by a Steelers team that got boat raced the week before, 38-3. And if the Bills really wanted to step on them in the second half, they could have scored 60.
Yeah.
And you couldn't score more than 20 points, more than 18 points.
And really, too, we're focusing.
Come on.
We're focused.
You want to tell me that Brady's okay?
Yeah.
No.
And listen, we're talking a lot about Brady. We're talking a lot about the offense, but it was equally as damning to me.
The defense
was the defense. I mean, you may look at it. Oh, they only gave up 20 points, and that's great. But the inopportune miscues at the worst times in those games.
The third longs that you're giving up.
At every critical moment, the defense failed, and they all were looking at each other like, "Where were you supposed to? Where was I supposed to be?"
Right.
And this is the things. Todd Bowles talked about this. Where do you want to see your defense improve? I want to see some of these back end miscommunications kind of go away. We're in year 4 of this defense.
And what is that miscommunication?
It's still happening.
That's lack of focus. That's that you're thinking about something else. What are you thinking about? Your quarterback wasn't at the walkthrough? What are you thinking about? Why? What? You're bored? You're bored? I mean, what are you thinking about?
Honestly, that comment by Devin White it gets on my nerves a little bit because if you're bored playing the Falcons, were you bored playing the Chiefs?
Yeah. Were you bored
So
playing the Steelers?
Are you just bored in general?
You bored in third
Are you
14?
bored in general?
Yeah.
I can't figure that one out.
Yeah, that's and there's a lot of things, what Bowles said about the Super Bowl fantasy world. I mean, there's a lot of red flags going on. But here's a lot of this is mental and it's preparation. That can be fixed.
It can be fixed.
It can be fixed. And that quote from Brady is maybe the first sign of like, all right, I thought I could have this balance. I can't. I got to get back in the freaking bunker with my boys and not come out until the season's over. I hope he realizes
and
that.
I'm interested which kind of Brady we get. What is it tomorrow?
And I would have liked to seen a public mea culpa. We didn't see it. I would like to see Todd Bowles say, I shouldn't have let him do it. That's on me.
Yeah.
They all need the mea culpa for it because it's not consistent with the rest of the stuff you're saying. It's just not.
I'm only laughing right now because I'm curious to see what we're going to get from Brady. He's tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
He speaks tomorrow, and Leftwich does as well. We usually don't play Leftwich's audio, but I think I might change that this week.
Tomorrow?
Because if Scott Reynolds is in that room, there are going to be some very pointed questions.
Well, I'm going to try to get over there tomorrow and get into the scrum for all the media tomorrow. So that is, it's questions that need to be asked.
Yeah.
And I will, if given the opportunity, I will ask Brady the question he wasn't asked after the game. How can you expect your team to be uber prepared when you're missing a walkthrough?
Yeah, and let's be honest here. I mean, he's probably going to give you I'm not going to get into that. And it's what it is. It's an answer. Listen, no comment is a comment. So
absolutely, 100%. And so that's just the good news. This isn't a team that's completely outmanned and you got nowhere to go to get players. That's not the situation that's going on here. This is a team that is as talented as you need to be to win a world championship. And this is a team that I believe has the talent to win the Super Bowl and the personnel and the coaching and the leadership. It's just messed up right now.
And by the way, and this is again, the sky's not falling. Show me another team in the NFC, save the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, the Vikings are 5-1, but they've been playing with their food. They've been squeaking out wins. And do we really trust Kirk Cousins in a big game?
No.
The answer is no.
No.
Show me another team in the NFC right now other than the Eagles that's firing on all cylinders.
And the Eagles, I think they're a very good football team.
It does. The teams that start out undefeated
very beatable.
Never win the Super Bowl.
Right.
The last one to do it, I think the last remaining unbeaten to win the Super Bowl was the Colts in 2006.
Yeah. It's I don't fear the Philadelphia Eagles, and I'm not being disrespectful, but
because I love Jalen Hurts.
I mean, right now, if the Bucs played them, they get their ass kicked.
Yeah,
this team that's been playing the last 3 weeks, absolutely.
I think Dallas, once they get their quarterback situation back, probably this week, I think they're a better team in Philadelphia.
Yeah, well,
their defense is a top 3 unit.
The defense
in
is
football.
legit. The defense is. I still think. I still think they have weapons issues. I still think they have
they cannot
issues.
endure a serious injury. They can't do it.
No, I don't think CeeDee Lamb is.
I think San Francisco is going to be there because they always are.
Yeah.
I think the Rams' issues are worse than the Bucs.
Yeah, they're toast.
They're toast. And then after that, the Packers.
Meh.
Rodgers was looking uninspired.
Meh. Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. It's still there for the Bucs.
Yeah, I agree. But it starts with their leader. It starts with Tom Brady, and hopefully he realizes that he needs to get back in the bunker in the foxhole there and not come out and stop with all the other BS. No more weddings And at the end of the podcast, for Jim Gray to say that, got any weddings planned? And then for him to chuckle, that didn't sit too well with me. I wonder how it sat with his teammates. I realized that, well, I think a lot of national media, a lot of guys that have played the game have come out and said that was a BS thing to do. And like, there's a lot of guys here locally that are not, that feel a little less about it. I don't know. And I respect all their opinions. And trust me, there's a lot of other things that are going on with this team that are equally as bad. But that just, to me, this is the stuff that you can really, really control. And you fumbled on that one. All right, quick break. When we come back, we'll hear what Corey Long has to say about what's going on with the Buccaneers. He was in that press box with me a week ago. So we'll talk with him. He's also at the Lightning game last night. We'll talk some Lightning with him as well. He's a Renaissance man. He covers it all just like we do. So quick break. It's the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group and BAMMC.com, Bay Area Modern Medical Center. We'll be back right after this.
Now is the time to make sure your home insurance is in order. In the last year, many of us have made improvements to our homes. So call the folks at Italiano and discuss these upgrades to make sure you have enough coverage. According to a recent report, almost 64% of homeowners don't have enough insurance on their home, which is their most valuable asset. Also, a great time to make sure you have flood insurance. Even if your mortgage company does not require flood insurance, your home could still be at flood risk. Another big item as we enter hurricane season is making sure your pool enclosure is added to your policy and there will be no issue at claim time. That happens a lot. So call your friendly agent at Italiano Insurance to review your policies today. 813-877-7799 or ItalianoInsurance.com.
Hey guys, Serena Fazan here for the Golden Diamond Source. Are you looking for the hottest trends in men's jewelry? Ladies love to see men spice it up with something cool from the Golden Diamond Source. Whether you're looking for a gold chain, fashion rings, even a pre-owned Rolex watch, or thinking about getting engaged, there's only one place to go. Go see my friends, Julie and Steve Weintraub at the Golden Diamond Source for your one-stop jewelry supercenter. It's never been more important to shop local and support the businesses that support our amazing Tampa Bay community. None better than the great folks at the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Ulmerton Road, or online at goldendiamond.com.
Are you concerned your spouse might be cheating or want to locate a long-lost relative or love? Or a missing person and the police are not helping? An insurance adjuster who needs proof of injury. Hi, I'm Rachel D'Antonio from Tampa Bay's premier private investigation agency, Emerging Investigation. We have a proven track record of results. Local attorneys and insurance companies hire us to discover insurance fraud and crucial information in criminal cases. We can help in custody matters, and we devote a tremendous state-of-the-art technology and cutting-edge industry surveillance techniques to get you trusted results. Larger court proven results and tremendous testimonials from our satisfied customers. Call for a free consultation and we can discuss how we can help. Peace of mind is as valuable as bad news. Just go to our website, emerginginv.com, or call 813-291-FACT. That's emerginginv.com. We're Emerging Investigations. We get results in life's biggest matters.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by Emerging Investigations, the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES If your car has been totaled and you did not get as much money from the insurance company as you think you deserve, they did not use the NADA or Blue Book value, well, you got a case, and you can recover thousands of dollars. That's something the Jeeves Law Group has done for a lot of their clients. So if you think you have a case, and even if it's 2, 3, 4 years old, you can still call the Jeeves Law Group. It's a free call, and find out if you have a case and can recover some money. So why not do it? It's a free call. Go to Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. Get all the information there. Email them or call them and tell them JP sent you. They also do a lot of other legal work there, personal injury, class action lawsuits, a lot of other stuff. So Scott Jeeves, the best in the business, and he will fight for you. So go to jeeveslawgroup.com and check it out. All right, let's welcome in our good friend, the Renaissance man, the great Corey Long, covers all these sports, was at the Lightning game last night, covers the Bucs, college football. What's up, my friend? How are you?
I'm good, and I'm wondering something as I read this little report here.
Yeah.
The NFL will pretty much sell anything to television, right? We know this, right?
Right.
Why not the owners' meetings? I mean, I'm hearing that, Jerry Jones told Bob Kraft, don't F with me, and I'm like, this is the stuff I want to see.
And Dan Snyder sending threatening letters?
Yeah. Now you feel like the Jerry Jones-Bob Kraft issue might have to do with, like, Bob marrying, like, a trophy wife that might have been Jerry Jones's ex-girlfriend or something?
Is that true?
Is that possible?
Is that true?
It could be. You feel it. You gotta think they roll in a certain circle of trophy wife women,
Yeah, and I'll
that
pay
like
per
we don't
view.
know about. Like there's some super high end Match.com thing that like none of those normal people know about.
That stuff exists big time.
Yeah, absolutely.
They make a lot of money.
You got to think if one owner married one, they had to have they maybe there's
You're in the pool. You're in the pool.
Past relationships with other owners.
Well, isn't it like that? It's like that with athletes, right? When certain girls date this guy, and then she jumps to the next athlete, or what do they call them? Homie hoppers? No, that's if you're going after another guy's your best buddy's girlfriend. Or you haven't heard of
I
homie
need to
hoppers?
see the NFL owners meetings this year, though. This is what I need to do.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Happen.
I don't know the term homie hopper.
Oh yeah,
we don't have our
Casey
fellow
told me
intern
about
here.
that. Yeah, Casey will tell you all
that.
about homie hoppers. Yeah, that's what Zach Wilson, that whole deal. No, but you're right. I mean, I've never really wanted to see two 80-year-old billionaires throw down, but in this case, that might be interesting.
I'm all for it. Yeah, I mean, this is the most entertaining thing that's happened this season so far.
There was a meme going around.
Kick an owner out? I mean, imagine the meeting. You're holding a vote to kick an owner out. That would be crazy.
Yeah, and that's good enough. What's going on with, and then Snyder like telling everybody, "I'm digging up dirt on all the owners." All those guys are quaking in their boots right now. Like, oh crap! Now we got Snyder over here.
Except for Irsay. Irsay's like, everybody knows my flaws. How many times everybody knows I'm a drunk, so we're good.
Yeah, remember that whole thing with Irsay and his girlfriend that died of overdose? They all these pills in his car with cash and stuff. Nothing to see here. I'm a rich guy. Nothing to see here.
Really?
Yeah.
You and I need to get with the people from Bravo. I think we can get like real NFL owners, real owners of the NFL
real
type of show going.
Oh, I think you got something there. Yeah, why you televise? You televise everything else, right?
I got a hit. Believe me, you want to get football fans from like March through August.
Oh.
Put all these billionaires in just some. We'll give them an island. We don't have to give them like one, but give them an entire island to themselves with nothing but mansions. Just force them to communicate with each other.
Show up at breakfast in the morning, like three guys over here, Stephen Ross, and see who goes off with who, right? And then the dinners come in with all the trophy wives, and there's more Botox in that place than freaking at a med spa. Oh my God, you have a hit on your hands here, bro. That would be fantastic. Everybody would watch that, and then knowing that the cameras
for that thing would be ridiculous,
and knowing that the cameras are rolling. Can you imagine what's going to come out of Jared's mouth? Jared be like, "Look at Bob Kraft over there with that new wife of hers. You seen? I had her in the back of my plane one." Oh, forget about it. We don't need to talk about anything else but that. Let's just keep going on this one. No, all right. Let's talk. Let's talk some Lightning. Well, last night they get up 2-0. Place is going nuts. Second period, they get 16 shots on goal. They're just dominating the game. And they come out in third period and just lay down lay down. Like, we got these 2 points. And before you know it, Torch Gang walking out with 2 points in a 3-2 win. And Cooper was salty last night. I was glad to see it.
Yeah, it was. It's a total. That's stealing a game right there. And it's stealing a game that, you get the bad penalty to start the third, give up the power play goal, and at that point, you're still thinking worst case scenarios we're headed to overtime because you got to get a point. You got to get something out of this the way they played. So not to get anything is pretty disappointing. And I think here's the one thing. You don't want to make early season games seem more crucial than they are. At the same time, you don't want to give up too much stuff early because it could always come back to bite you. It still takes, the Eastern Conference is, it still takes 100 points or close to it to get into the playoffs. Yeah. So you don't want to end up with 96, 97 like it was in, what was that, 2017, I think, or you end up a point out, and you go on a good run at the end of the season, but it's just too little too late. So, they got Florida this weekend. I think they got to at least get something out of that. I don't know if you can get a win, but you got to at least get a point. They got the Islanders. So, there's, it's still early. There's still the opportunities, but, those games like that, just those hurt because you should walk away with something and you get nothing out of them.
Yeah, well, so they got 2 points in 4 games now. And they've got back-to-back with the Panthers on the road, and then the Islanders come here. So, it's certainly not panic time, but I'm thinking you got to get 3 out of 4 points on Friday and Saturday just to get the train going down the tracks, right?
Yeah, you do, and I think you got to get some of these guys feeling good about themselves. I think you got to get something successful has to happen 5-on-5. They generated a lot of opportunities last night, and hats off to Carter Hart. He played a heck of a game.
He was good.
It was really good. But they got to get some things slipping past 5-on-5. I'm excited about Stamkos' hot start. He's 13 short of 500. He's 21 points short of 1,000. But he can't be the only guy you're relying on. You can't be relying on him just to pile up power play goals to get you wins.
Yeah, and we talked about it earlier in the show, but you can comment on it as well. Is there anything prettier to watch than Kucherov or Hedman to Kucherov to Stamkos? And everybody knows it's coming. And this is the magic of that pass and Stamkos being ready. And like Engblom said this on the post show I did with him last night. Stamkos has this incredible ability. It's like he talked about like his catch radius. Like normally for a one-timer, you expect that pass to come right to your stick and boom. But Stamkos can just contort himself and get in position. So his catch radius is about a yard and a half. And he can get to that puck and be in position to one-time it with incredible accuracy. We're watching 2 of the best that have ever done it. And it's amazing to watch.
It really is. And it really, with Stamkos, it's so incredible how quick that windup can be because he can sit on that one-timer from a lot of different spots. It could come cross ice from Kucherov. It could come from the point with Hedman. As we saw last night, Nemesnikov made a beautiful touch pass from the hash marks to get it to him. And every time he's just, the wind up and the execution of it is so quick, and the accuracy of Jilly to hit that thing on the short side of the net. And, it really is wonderful. It really is a wonderfully designed, the way they designed that power play to get them open, get them in that position, the way you can kind of maneuver, circle around. Those guys are obviously looking for them, but, that's a credit to, what Kucherov can do with the puck, the threat that Hedman has with the puck, the threat that Braden Point has with the puck that forces guys to have to be accountable for them because you don't want to leave any of those guys open.
Yeah, I agree. Of course, you cover all the sports, and I don't know how much you watch the Rays, but, we've been talking about this theme this morning, especially when it comes to Lightning and Bucks, is, we're coming to that point where Tampa Bay is getting fat and happy, right? These teams have had a ton of success. Everybody's patting them on the back. They've all got paid. We're on the luxury liner now. We were struggling on that little boat, for so long, trying to get onto the yacht, and now everybody's on the yacht eating food and drinking. And it's like the coaches are like, hey, we got a new season here. Last night Coop was like, hey, You know what? You're not going to just it doesn't matter what you've done before, throw your sticks out there with a 2-0 lead, and it's just going to magically happen. And here's Bowles going, look, you're living in fantasy land on that Super Bowl stuff, boys. It's a new season. It's a whole new team. And you've been in sports for a long time, Corey. You've covered it. You played it. This is the part of it. You got to get motivated. You got to get that hunger back. And the coaches have got to find a way to get this, light the fire. I mean, Coop said it last night. That energy in the third period, he looked over at the Philly bench and they're jumping around and they're ready to go. He looks at his bench and they're all just sitting there. This is where we're at right now.
Yeah, and it really is hard. It's hard for guys, once you've won something a little bit to stay hungry, because it is such a grind and you work so hard to get there and you have to sacrifice so much to get there. And, you think about those sacrifices and how long it takes and what happens is it doesn't go away all at once. It goes away gradually. So, when you think about it, it's like, all right, we have to do all this for an 82-game schedule and then the playoffs and, to get to the Stanley Cup. And then your mindset starts to go, well, maybe we can do that for 60 of the 82 games. We don't have to go full 82 because I don't have that energy is a little bit harder to generate every night now. And, that's where it happens is you just, the gas tank starts to get on empty a little quicker.
Yep.
And, unfortunately with that, the hunger and the motivation tends to die off a little bit. I don't think it's there yet. I mean, at least not with the Lightning. With the Bucks, I don't know if, we don't know really where 12's head is. Let's be honest. Yeah. We don't know where Brady's head is right now. I'm going to ask
you about that, yeah. Well, let's talk about that. So you feel the Lightning will find the hunger. They'll get it back, and they'll be. I do too. I think their leadership is too good. Stamkos, Hedman, Kuch, all those guys, they demand excellence, and they're not gonna let their. It might wane for a little bit, but that's why Cooper kicks him in the ass, and he says the things he does publicly. He's talking directly to his team when he's doing those press conferences. So I get that, and Bowles is too. So I've been very critical of Brady this week, taking that trip and then not coming home for the walkthrough in the morning. I think he should have flown home Friday night. I think it affected him, and when you go out and play like that, you can't. You got nothing to say. You against a team like that, you should have put up 40 points. You do that. And you miss, and then you come play, you lay a turd like that, you got nothing to say. You can't say it didn't bother me. It didn't affect the team, because I'm here to say it did. I think the defense didn't look, they weren't locked in. The offense wasn't locked in. There were so many mental mistakes in that game I've not seen in years and years for Buccaneers. And I point the finger right at number 12.
And, this is something new for him, because we're used to the Tom Brady, always get your job done, Tom Brady.
That's right.
This is what we do. This is how we practice. This is the process we go through. Yes, it's tedious, but, every single week, this is what we have to do to win football games, right. and you're just, and like I said, I don't know where his head is. I mean, there's a lot going on, and I certainly respect that. I'm not ignorant to the fact that he's 45. I'm 45. You're still a few years younger than 45. So, right. When you get there, you'll realize that things don't work like they used to.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. No, but here's a guy that has lived on preparation his entire career, outthinking you, outsmarting
you. He's got to where he is by the fact that he was always prepared.
Right. And more prepared than everybody else. And that was his winning edge. I've likened it to Lamar Jackson getting fat. He can't get fat. That's your advantage is your incredible athleticism, and his advantage has always been he's always been 2 steps ahead of everybody else because of his preparation and his quick processing in the. And I look at this tape and I don't see the same guy. I don't see the same quarterback. He's inaccurate. He's missing reads, and it's not just him though. It's everybody. But when the quarterback's not doing it, it affects everybody else. And the offensive line is not good.
And that quarterback isn't doing it because his preparation is really when you talk to the other guys, that's the driving force for them, because they see him, this Hall of Famer, best to ever do it, still preparing like he's a rookie in the league trying to get a job. And that's what drove all of those guys. Yep. When he gets away from that, I really think it affects that entire team mentally, because they spend a lot of time wondering what he's doing,
right?
Because
Exactly.
he's the one that kind of pushes. He's the one that that pushes this train. So, I think and you see guys that are still working hard. Hey, Leonard Fournette, man, you were busting your ass. I got no problems with you.
Dude, he trucked that
There's
safety
certain guys
going
out there
into
that
the
are
end
still
zone.
working hard, but there's a lot of guys I think that are lost right now because their leader, they know their leader's not all there.
Yep, I agree, 100%.
Yeah, and even like just the defensive side that we talked a little bit in this show about the lapses they had over there, and the leader of that defense is Devin White, and I mean the stuff he's putting on tape right now is egregious linebacker play. I mean, does that not help either when the leader of your defense seems like he's just all over the place as well?
Yeah, I do. I think it's a total domino effect. The one thing about this style and this do your job mentality is that, when they see one guy doing it, everybody does. It's like, well, I got to do my part. And when one guy stops doing his part, other guys are just, it's a lot of loafing around. It's a lot of questioning, what are we doing here?
Selfish
and
decisions.
It's a tough place to be right now because you don't know. Like you assume that, 1 week, okay, things are just going to click and everybody's going to turn back on and get back on the same page. But I don't know. Yeah. I don't know how much Tom Brady wants to play this game anymore. I understand if he doesn't. He's been doing it for 22 years, 23 years, or however long he's been doing it for. But I don't know. We just don't know where his head is right now. And it's definitely not where it's been for the past 22 years of his career.
I could not agree more. Corey Long joining us here. Let's hit a little college football here as well. What did you make of the FSU Clemson game? Nice comeback by FSU.
I wondered why Trey Benson didn't get the ball more. I felt like Clemson really wasn't eager to tackle him in the first quarter, and then I think he got 7 carries the whole game. Yep. I've been hoping for a little bit more of a timeshare for Toa Feely, which he did get. I think he got maybe 6 catches, 11 carries, something like that. But what I've seen the last couple of games, and in this game it was really a little bit more concerning, is that you come out, the script is very good. Norvell's scripts are tremendous, actually. They really do generally result in points or in very good drives. And, teams push back a little bit, and offensively it just becomes the Jordan Travis show. And I don't always fault him for that because I think sometimes that's kind of put on him rather than him just deciding to do it himself. There are times it was just weird. They were trying to really force the ball to Johnny Wilson on that fade more than they should have.
Yep.
I like, it's great that they came back. They scored some touchdowns late, made it look respectable. You don't want to really get into that. That's not where you want to be, though. Right. The bottom line is they had, for the first 20 minutes of the game, it was, they had Clemson at least they had Clemson feeling like they were going to be in a dogfight for 60 minutes. Then what happens in about a 3-minute span between the final 2 minutes of the first the final 2 minutes of the first half and the first 19 seconds of the second half, and all of a sudden you're down by 17.
I thought Jordan got hurt early on in the game. Like late first quarter, he got hit in the head and he was shaking his head a little bit. And I thought from that point to probably in the fourth quarter, he just wasn't himself. I thought he was inaccurate. I thought his run reads were not great. He just didn't look like the same guy. I think he got dinged up a little bit, whatever it was. And then I think he came back in the fourth quarter. So I don't think that we saw the best of Jordan Travis. But again, I go to game management. This has been my Mike Norvell thing. I think from, once again, Sunday to Friday, the guy's kicking ass. But on game day, man, he's just the fake punt in that situation and the play that they ran, that was awful, bro. And then, the goal line situations where you don't score in the red zone. You mentioned the Johnny Wilson fades and some of the play calling down there, really played into the hands of Clemson's strength. His game management really leaves a lot to be desired. And he's still coaching like he's an undermanned Memphis coach going against bigger teams. And it's not the way it is right now. So what do you think?
Yeah, I do. I think, I don't think he coaches. Yeah, I do think there's a lot of there's a lot of kind of underdog mentality in the coaching, and probably still some underdog mentality in the way they're building the roster. We're 3 years in, and they're still like. I'll put it to you this way: we've talked about the Fabian Lovett injury and how big. It's definitely affected their defense. You would agree, right?
Hugely, bigly.
But Fabian Lovett is not 1997 Andre Wadsworth. He's not Corey Simon.
Yeah.
He's not Travis. He's not a first-round NFL talent.
Right.
Like he's a decent defensive tackle that doesn't rush the passer, that's good against the run. Like you should have other guys.
Yeah.
That like losing Fabian Lovett shouldn't kill your entire defense.
No, it's true. It's true. Well, that's they still don't have that depth. We talked about that earlier in the week. They get injuries.
I don't know if they don't have that depth, or they're just not like. From what I see out of 44, I think it's Jordan Farmer. I think it's a good young player. Like I like the fact that he crushed Devin Leary. It was a horrible call, but the fact that he put that guy out for this season, I'm like, yeah, that's what you need. You need some nastiness up front. A guy that can get to the quarterback.
Yeah. No.
He's not playing. He's not playing as much as he should. Yeah. They're running Jared Jackson out there, who's awful.
Yeah.
They keep playing Turrentine on the offensive line. He stinks.
Get Armella in
like
there.
At a certain point, you're handicapping yourself.
No.
And I think that's both on the offensive side. I think that's Adam Fuller as a D coordinator. God bless him. I think, as I told people, I think he's better than what they thought he would be, but he's still not where FSU should really want a defensive coordinator to be.
Did somebody tell him that it's like a rule that you have to play 2 high safeties on every play?
It's like whether it's third and goal at the 1 or first and 10, he's the same thing. No, you can sell out on some plays. It's okay.
Yeah, and especially with those 2 safeties, as talented as they are, look what Antoine Winfield is doing. Get them down in the box, get them in the mix, get them making plays. They're too talented to be just hanging 30 yards off the ball.
The defense does not really allow for playmakers to make plays or really to try to create anything negative. It's all, to me, this is one of those, I guess it's kind of one of those, defenses that is analytically sound because they're not giving up a ton of yards.
Right.
They're not giving up explosive plays, but they don't stop anything. Teams get in the red zone, they score. Teams get, I think right now, FSU is 73rd in the nation in third down percentage allowed by opponents. They're almost 50% with that at home, which you would think with the home field advantage, you'd be a lot better. So it's like, it's fine. Bend but don't break is fine, but bend and break is not, and don't create turnovers, which they haven't done in a month. That's not good.
It's a bad combination.
Yeah, before we let you go here, I just wanted to, if you had any quick thought on USF and Gary Bohannon, the report that he's out for the season. So just any thoughts on how that, I guess, experiment worked out and, stretch of the season. Stretch of the season. Jeff Scott's job status.
For Gary, who I thought he did the best he could. It's just, it ain't working.
Yeah,
that's it. That's my thoughts on USF. It ain't working.
Boy, they just injured, and it ain't working. They are.
Sometimes bad luck happens, but sometimes the bad luck is the luck that you created. So
and Tennessee,
I would say it ain't working.
And Tennessee beating Alabama, man, it has put the SEC in a really good spot now. They could get 3, maybe 4 teams into the playoff. So I guess good for them, but
good for them. I can't help but like Josh Heupel. I can't help but like a coach that's got a good SEC physique. He looks like he's out there tailgating. I was hoping to see a bunch of like TikTok stories of him just walking out of every bar in Knoxville drunk off his behind, shotgunning butt heavies and eating brisket out, with his hands. To me, I felt like he deserved a 24-hour from the AD, 24-hour free pass, pal. As long as we're going to hire you a driver, you do whatever you want for 24 hours.
Yeah, you just absolutely do what you got to do.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was a hell of a finish in that, man. The way they
it was a great week last week in college football. There was some good stuff, man. There was some real good stuff.
All right, my brother, tell everybody how they can get your content, Mr. Corey Long. You're all over the place.
All right, Twitter at Corey Long is the best spot. Of course, all my NHL stuff is at NHL.com. And Google my name, and you'll see different things all over the place.
Ooh,
really, there's
yes,
a lot
you
of Corey Long content out there,
Speaking of benders,
out there in the interwebs.
Yeah. All right, partner. Great stuff. Thanks again. Always love chatting to you on Wednesdays, buddy. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. You take care, JP.
All right. Well, we're here. We're at the end. By the way, we have Taco and Margarita Festival tickets to give away to you folks out there. It's a VIP entry at 11 o'clock on Saturday. It's at Raymond James Stadium. We're going to give away a couple of VIP tickets, which you get all food and beverage. So here's what I want you to do. Go to our social media and follow our show page, the JP Peterson Show, the show page. Follow us there. And also you have to subscribe to our YouTube page. So if you follow our Instagram page, not just my personal one, but the JP Peterson Show, and you also have to follow our YouTube page, we're going to put you in the hopper for those tickets. So tacos and margaritas to your heart's desire at Ray J this Saturday. They're going to have DJ, all kinds of fun stuff there. So just go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube page and also our show page on Instagram, and you will be eligible, and we will give you those tickets on Friday. All right, partner. Another fantastic show. Well done.
Yeah, good
Get
stuff
a lot of
today.
good stuff.
Final note here, just for Bucs practice, no Julio once again.
No Julio.
No Julio. So day-to-day has turned into, I guess, 6 weeks.
Julio is not down at the old schoolyard.
Nope.
That's for sure. All right. We'll have more fun and frivolity for you tomorrow as we start to preview Bucs, Panthers, and the college football weekend as well, and the Lightning. So it's all here every day, 2 hours, Tampa Bay Centric Sports Talk. We'll talk to you then.